Hello and welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me today as I talk about pests that you will likely come across as an organic gardener. I will discuss 6 most common garden pests, how to spot them, and most importantly, how to get rid of them without using any pesticides. Let's go to the video. First on our list is aphids. To identify this pest, look for small pear-shaped insects with soft bodies that feed on the sap of your plants. They vary in color according to their species, but common colors are green, yellow, and black. The color of the aphids is also influenced by the type of plants that they've been eating. Aphids come into your garden from neighboring plants by being blown by the wind and from infected plants that you may have purchased from your local garden shop. They feed on the sap of plants, and they particularly love the tender new growth and succulent plants. Aphids have mastered the art of reproduction. They don't need a partner for them to mate and reproduce. This means they can spread quickly and their numbers can become overwhelming in a very short period of time. They work together with ants in a symbiotic relationship where ants protect the aphids from predators and move them from plant to plant to find a safer place for them, and the aphids in return provide them with honeydew. Whenever there are ants in the garden, it's likely that aphids are also present. In my garden, this happened in the corn. The ants were everywhere, and sure enough, aphids were in between the corn and the stalks. On the kale plants, the ants were everywhere, and aphids were also everywhere. I would even find some under the ground in the anthill. To deal with an aphid infestation, mix a solution of water, dish soap, and neem oil. Spray the solution onto the affected plants, making sure to cover both the tops and bottom of the leaves. Repeat this process every few weeks until the aphids are no longer present. This solution works by suffocating the aphids and disturbing their ability to feed and reproduce. You can also introduce natural predators like ladybugs or lacewings. Companion plants such as marigolds, nasturtiums, or catnip can also help repel aphids while attracting beneficial insects. In this part of my garden, I've grown 2 bushes of marigold around this row of beetroot, and there's been absolutely no aphid issues, although the neighboring eggplant did have some aphids. But on this part of the garden, this was never an issue. Coming up on our list is thrips. To identify thrips, you look for small, slender insects that eventually grow wings and they crawl very fast around your plants. Thrips feed on the sap of plants, causing damage to flowers, fruits, and vegetables. They lay their eggs in plant tissue, which hatch into tiny insects that feed on the leaves and flowers. Thrips are often difficult to spot because they are so small in size and they move very quickly around your plants. The thrips infestation in my garden happened on the peas, and the damage they did on the leaves started off as silver spots and eventually turned into yellowing and curling. Thrips can also transmit plant diseases. Therefore, it's very important that you control the population so that you can protect the rest of your crop. The pea pods were very bumpy and curled, and some of the flowers even dried out. To physically remove thrips, you can use a vacuum cleaner or sticky traps placed near the affected plants. In my case, the infestation was so bad I had to physically remove them every other day with sticky tape and follow with neem oil solution. The solution works the same way as it does on aphids by suffocating the thrips and disturbing their ability to feed and reproduce. When you spray this solution, make sure that you cover the leaves, the stems, and the flowers thoroughly. Companion plants such as calendula, sunflowers, or daisies also help to attract beneficial insects that will prey on the thrips. In this season, I planted a lot of sunflowers and I did not experience any thrips on the bush beans that I was growing. The third pest on the list is cutworm. To identify these assassins, look for plump caterpillar-like worms that emerge from the soil in the spring to feed on your young seedlings. They love to feed on tender stems of young plants which they cut down at the soil level. They come from the female moths when they lay their eggs in the soil near host plants. The larvae hatch and feed on plant roots and stems. This pest came as a surprise to me. One day I woke up to a few of my carrot seedlings chopped down with such precision. I was a bit impressed. Then my radish seedlings were also cut as if a knife was used. That was not a nice way to discover a garden pest. So when I planted my eggplant seedlings, I planted the seedlings inside toilet paper rolls to act as a barrier and protect my seedlings from cutworm. The cardboard rolls acted as a barrier between the soil and the seedlings, preventing the pests from reaching the plants. This simple solution saved my eggplant seedlings from being attacked by the cutworms. I have also learned that you can also use sticks or toothpicks simply by inserting them into the soil around your seedlings to create a physical border against cutworms. You can also encourage natural predators that feed on cutworms, such as ground beetles. You can also plant companion plants such as dill, parsley, or coriander to help repel the cutworms, because cutworms do not like the strong scent of these herbs. Next up, let's talk about cabbage worms. To identify cabbage worms, you look for tiny worms that come from white butterflies and moths. These tiny worms, they feed on the leaves of the cabbage family crops. The eggs are usually yellow or orange in color and are found on the other side of leaves. The cabbage worms that hatch from these eggs are usually green in color, and some have fine hairs covering their bodies. A simple way to get rid of cabbage worms is to handpick the worms. That's if you're not scared of them like me. You just handpick them off of the plants and drop them into a bucket of soapy water, and this will suffocate and kill them. You can also feed them to your chicken or your birds. You can also cover the plants with roll covers to prevent butterflies from laying eggs on them. But this will also take away the fun of watching butterflies just floating around your garden. I just blasted them off with water so they can fall off the plants, and then I asked my husband to just pick them and feed them to the birds. You can also grow companion plants such as thyme, mint, or dill to help repel cabbage worms. The strong scent from these herbs deters butterflies from laying eggs on your cabbage plants. Number 5 on our list is mealybugs. To identify mealybugs, look for small insects covered in a white waxy coating that makes them look like they are covered in cotton. They damage your garden plants by feeding on plant sap just like aphids and thrips. They lay their eggs in cottony egg sacs on plant stems and leaves. When the eggs hatch, the young mealybugs crawl out and begin feeding. They may look like harmless fluff, but they damage the plants by drying them out like they did to my potted mint. Now, I didn't use any spray for the mealybugs. I simply dunked the entire mint plant pot in water for a day, and the bugs suffocated and died. If the infestation is in your garden, you can blast them off with a strong stream of water or introduce natural enemies like parasitic wasps and ladybugs. You can also use companion plants such as garlic and chives to help repel the mealybugs. The last pest on our list is not a bug like the other pests, but it's a fungus, and it's still a pest because it can cause damage to your plants by layering a white or grayish powder on the leaves, stems, and flowers. This will inhibit photosynthesis and weaken the overall health of your plants. As you can see here, the leaves are completely covered and some have already turned yellow. To prevent powdery mildew, you need to make sure that your plants have good air circulation, avoid overhead watering, and remove any infected leaves immediately to stop the spread of the fungus. If you have been unfortunate like me and the fungus has already settled, you can mix a solution of milk or baking soda. Personally, I was skeptical about having milk on my plants as I worried about what would happen when it starts to rot. If you have used a milk solution in your garden, please let me know how it went in the comments section below. The baking soda solution that I made was using these ingredients that you can see over here, which is your baking soda, your neem oil, and your dish soap. I mixed all of this in a 1.5 liter water bottle. One tip for the bottle: do yourself a favor and invest in a pressure spray bottle because my hands did not feel good after the hand spraying. The baking soda will lower the pH on the leaves and inhibit the growth of the fungus in your plants, while the neem oil will act as a natural pesticide and the dish soap will help the solution to stick onto the leaves. It's important to test a small area of your plants before applying the solution to your whole garden to ensure that there's not going to be any negative effects. Make sure to reapply the solution every 7 to 14 days for best results. You can also grow plant companions such as chamomile or dill to help improve air circulation and reduce the humidity around your plants. This will help prevent powdery mildew from settling on the leaves of your plants. If you've enjoyed this video so far, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I promise I won't talk about tiny scary bugs next time. I hope this video helped you in learning about garden pests and using natural methods such as beneficial insects and companion planting. By doing this, you can enjoy your beautiful, healthy plants without harming the environment or risking your health. Thank you so much for watching.